Hello, it is Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 at 4:50 p.m. Eastern Time, USA, 1650. I'm Mitch Miller. This is my video journal. I couldn't resist. I pushed up my time frame a little bit because I got home early. It's my anniversary. It's primary election day, so I figured I'd do a video journal, move up my notes that I've taken down, and probably do another one tomorrow while Hillary's at Pilates. Big news, the IRS is going to make available a tax filing system for free to all Americans. It's about time. Apparently the private tax preparers have lobbied for years to keep this from happening, and finally the people have prevailed, and we're going to be able to file our taxes without having to pay somebody to do so. Makes a lot of sense. A lot of other countries have already done this, but it's a big industry in the United States, and hopefully we rectify that situation. Alright, so today I want to talk about my green my green tool shed project. So this is something that I would do if I was mayor of Pittsburgh or any other town or city. It's an idea I've been working on for a little while, not too long, and I open this idea to any mayor anywhere in the world. Take this idea and run with it. Now I doubt you will, because the power tool industry will sell less power tools if you do this, and they'll tell you that the economy is going to crash and so on and so forth, blah blah blah. The idea starts with empty lots here in the city of Pittsburgh that are owned by the city. There's nothing on them. These are usually going to be in poorer neighborhoods, but it's a program to incentivize people to work on their houses and keep the existing housing stock well taken care of into the future. Right, the internet brought us all kinds of do-it-yourself videos, YouTube videos. People can work on their houses. They just don't have the tools to do so, and they can't spend $300, $400, $500 for each tool they need to work on their house for a few projects here and there. And places like the Home Depot rent tools, but they often don't rent little power tools, drills, impact drivers, things like that. And it's expensive. My idea comes in, it's the Green Tool Shed project. We put these tool sheds on in empty lots, and this could work in a place like Oil City with a lot of empty lots. Franklin has empty lots. Could do it in small towns just like you could do it in large cities. Basically, it's a tool shed. It's equipped with maybe one cheap solar panel on it to charge the batteries for the door, and there's lockers inside, open air lockers inside with electronic locks. Along with this tool shed initiative, there is of course a web platform, some kind of website system that I'm talking about. People become a member. Maybe you pay $1 a year or $5, whatever one of those little key cards costs with the chip inside to unlock the doors, right? You register your name, you get the key card, it's $5 for the first year to pay for the card. If your card's still good, after the second year it's $1 a year. Just whatever, or free, or subsidized. Lose a card, you got to pay for the replacement card in your name. The card unlocks, it goes by neighborhood. The card unlocks your specific tool sheds closest to your house. People like me that have acquired a lot of power tools can sign up on the website and rent our tools at a much lower rate than Home Depot rents their tools, right? And there's a promissory note, there's a waiver, there's all kinds of stuff available through the website, legalese, to cover the owner of the tools, and to cover the program's legal issues. So I can take my impact driver and my battery-powered Sawzall and my battery-powered drill down. I get an alert through the website, somebody wants to rent it on Tuesday. I take it, drive it over to the shed, put it in the shed. I swipe my card as a tool owner. I swipe into the proper numbered locker that's empty, waiting for my tools, and I put my tools in there. The person that owns the home, rents the home, whatever, walks over to their tool shed. They click their card, tap their card to get in, tap their card on the proper locker that was set up through the website, tells them what locker to go into. They get the tools and they rent it for a day or a half a day or 2 days or 3 days, or a week or a month, however long the project takes. There's a hourly, daily, weekly rate, I'm sure. There's also a feature where the renter can enter in how many batteries they used through a specific tool. I used a drill and it took 3 batteries. I only got 2 batteries with the tool, but I charged one and used almost all of that battery doing my project. And this will allow us to track power tools and how long they last, right? And this will push the tool owners to buy the more expensive but longer lasting tools if we can have a metric to see how long power hand tools, battery powered tools last. Alright, so that's just phase 1 of the Green Tool Shed initiative. A place for people to be able to walk and rent tools in their neighborhood and work on their house. A place for people like me that want to help out lower income communities can drive our tools over to that neighborhood and let them rent it. And of course, they'll have to put down a debit card or credit card and pay $150 deposit or whatever, $100 deposit, just like the Home Depot, to rent the tool in case they steal it, sell it, so on and so forth. That's always a risk when you're doing this type of thing, but we can try to mitigate that as much as possible. Okay, that's phase 1 of the Green Tool Shed project. Phase 2 is that the community, the neighborhood, the block, the 2 blocks, the 4 block area that this shed facilitates, after we get this program citywide initiated and the website's up, not only will you be able to rent tools through the shed as it starts on phase 1, but phase 2 is we'll actually equip the shed or the empty lot with solar panels, and we will purchase lawn care equipment, battery-powered weed eaters, battery-powered lawnmowers, battery-powered hedge clippers, battery-powered rototiller for people that want to make a garden, create a garden. So mainly those 4 items, but I'm sure there's other tools we could incorporate into the shed. So along one side is the lockers where people can rent tools and get tools to work on their house. On the other side is the battery-powered equipment to work on your yard. That's all charged through solar energy. So we're using green energy to manicure our lawns, to take care of our lawns. And anyone that's a member in that 4 block vicinity can use those tools for free. So by taking some kind of percentage of the rental fees from the initial phase, we'll be able to buy lawn equipment and get people off of gas-powered equipment and let them rent their not rent, they'll use it for free if they're a member, for $1 a year, whatever it is. Maybe at that level, to use the lawn equipment, it's $5 or $10 a year. To maintenance the equipment, to buy new batteries, so on and so forth. Again, we can track how many batteries have been used through this lawn equipment to see who's building the best lawn equipment out there and equip it in all of our sheds so that they last a long time and everybody's using green electricity in these neighborhoods to mow their lawns, take care of their hedges. Excuse me, take care of the hedges, so on and so forth. So that's the green tool shed project. Again, any mayor out there, any city council member out there, any local politician out there can take this idea and use it in their city, in their hometown. I'm putting it out there. I release the copyright or buyer, inventor's rights or whatever it is. I'm sure other people have thought of this. I'm just putting it out there on my video journal, and I think it's a good idea. I think it's something the supercomputers would support. They want to know that we're making machines that last a long time, not cheaply made stuff on an assembly line that's semi-automated. Plus it's green energy, a lot less gasoline, petroleum products, so on and so forth. Alright, so if I'm elected mayor of Utica, I'll do this initiative. Franklin, Pittsburgh, I'll try to get this put into effect. Or if Joan, the DJ, the woman DJ that I talked to on Facebook and said, hey, I'll support you if you run for mayor, I can put that idea to her if she runs for the next mayor of Pittsburgh. I believe that may be our first female homosexual mayor of Pittsburgh. So as I said, I backed off when there was going to be a black mayor of Pittsburgh. Now we might have another groundbreaking mayor. I'll fully support her and get behind her if she goes for mayor. I'll knock on doors, just like with that I intend to do with Ken for the November election. I'll help him where I can. Right now I'm helping on his farm. Alright, so the other thing I want to talk about is Wi-Fi. I've talked about a security system in houses. I want to use this as a model house to develop that. Other buildings and houses I have access to. And I have ideas of how we can equip houses with wired data cables, wired internet, and security systems. And here's the thing. People love Wi-Fi. They love having the wireless devices in their hands, surfing the internet. Not really surfing the internet, surfing social media. I'm not saying you can't have Wi-Fi. If you want Wi-Fi, you're entitled to Wi-Fi in your living spaces, right? But we could develop better systems where the wireless antenna, the wireless router is in a room, in a box, and it's directional. And it also has an on-off switch right on the box. Right? Like a light switch box, but it's a directional Wi-Fi that you input when you install it, or it measures the dimensions of the room, and it puts out the wireless signal so that it doesn't really go past the walls of that room. Right? You could equip routers in each room of your house or the rooms you want to use Wi-Fi in, and we could make it much more precise and directional so that I'm not getting my neighbor's Wi-Fi, you know, they're not crossing through all these houses, so on and so forth. So then you could legislate, hey, you know, you have to use directional Wi-Fi. You can't be blasting your neighbor's house with an intense Wi-Fi network when they're trying to sleep, or maybe they're wirelessly sensitive, so on and so forth. Alright. So, update on the Ford Exploder, the 2000 Ford Explorer. The anti-lock brakes are acting up again. I drove it to work and back today. They are acting back up again. So if you want to witness this phenomenon in person, I invite you to drive my 2000 Ford Explorer, see how computers are going to malfunction and cause accidents. When I get up to Utica on Thursday, at some point in the next 4 or 5 days, I will look into pulling the fuses for the anti-lock braking system, hopefully overriding that system so that it brakes properly every time I come to a stop. On that note, I want to talk a little bit about the federal government fleet vehicle. Right? I said if I'm empowered with a couple $100 a day for my own income, not earmarked for other projects, but through selling my art, raffling off my art pieces, my motorcycles, so on and so forth, or through book sales of the novel of the Femme Party novel. I said I will, if I'm empowered with money, I will look into, for the first time, what the most popular fleet vehicle of the United States governments is, and I will buy that year and model of vehicle and make payments on or whatever I need to do. I will drive this vehicle. Even thought of next year, next summer, possibly a road trip with Hillary of all 50 states of the United States with my USB plugged in and my cell phone. And so we can spend years trying to cut the corruption out of the federal government, trying to infiltrate government protected encrypted emails, which I think supercomputers have access to and can see. But how do you report corruption in the government to the government? And you have a corrupt media, so you can't trust them to report it to them. So we can spend years trying to cut the corruption out of the government. Or I can buy a fleet vehicle, let supercomputers analyze it as I drive through different states, as I drive on my normal routes, and hypothetically the corrupt government employees just get eliminated naturally, or at least as naturally as this world that they created, that the baby boomers have created, allows it to be, right? We had Judge Dredd, we had warnings of a judge, jury, and executioner scenario of police, and nobody seemed to demand the right to trial by jury back after that film, right? We're still not pushing for a right to trial by jury. Nobody's taking up the call. I put it out there publicly on my podcast. So the people want artificial intelligence to analyze how corrupt an individual is and be the judge, jury, and executioner. I believe that's so. I put out warnings about autonomous vehicles, things like that. Nobody's contacted me, and as I said, we just let it happen, right? Maybe they look into my theories about how the government should be structured, at least some government agencies, and say male government employees need to be eliminated, either fired or otherwise, and females should have one government agency all to themselves. I said the FBI, maybe it's a different one that they think is more fitting, and 2 branches of the military. Right, you have 2 branches, all female, military, 2 branches of the military all male, and 2 branches are co-ed. Seems fair, would cut back on sexual misconduct, sexual assaults. So I think it's a good solution. So again, I'll buy a fleet vehicle if I'm empowered with the money. Not that they can't analyze other people's fleet vehicles and orchestrate this whole anti-corruption strategy of their own. I'm just saying, for the people out there that are good government employees, that aren't corrupt, it may behoove you to have me driving a vehicle similar to the one issued to you by the government. And so we are going to be buying a new vehicle. We're going to be looking into buying a new vehicle when we get back from Europe on June 20th. We're going to make some calls, start looking into a Volkswagen Tiguan. If that's the case, if I'm making $15 an hour at an embroidery shop and 25% of a low-key campground that we're not really pushing advertising or anything because the owner's in a political race and his wife doesn't really want to blow up his spot. She doesn't want to have all the stress of the campground while she's dealing with the stress of him running for county commissioner. Now next year we can really focus on growing the business because hopefully he'll be commissioner, he'll have quit his job at the prison, and he'll be able to focus on the campground to a higher degree. Anyhow, if those are my only streams of income, I'm not going to take the risk of buying a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 vehicle that the government uses. I will buy for $4,000 or $5,000 the vehicle we currently own, the Jetta, off of my wife, my spouse Hillary. She will buy a new Tiguan and we'll drive German vehicles, which will benefit probably the German government and maybe bring anti-corruption to the German government and the German people. So I'm fine either way. Just saying, the time is ticking away for us to get a new vehicle, so I'm not driving this Ford Exploder with malfunctioning brake systems. I will drive it up and down Creek Road to bring people back and forth with kayaks. That's a low risk situation. And also I wanted to put out there about kayak outfitting. If you have your own kayaks and your own truck or SUV, I'm happy to drive you up to Carlton, drop you off in your vehicle that's all loaded up so I don't have to load a vehicle, and drive the vehicle to my grandfather's house. You'll have to sign waivers to cross my grandfather's property, bring your equipment out on my grandfather's property, waive all rights to suing my grandfather, so on and so forth. But your vehicle will be waiting for you at or near my grandfather's house, depending on how many people do this. You can circumvent the requirement of having a state stamp to use the state access areas along French Creek, because Carlton is a private launch area near a bridge and my grandfather's house is a private launch area, backyard that you can pull right up into his backyard. I will take you on the 15-minute trip up the creek in your vehicle and bring it back to my grandfather's house. Hopefully it's a half-hour round trip. For me, I will do that for $20 per trip. $20. So I could potentially make $40 an hour on a nice day if couples or 2 people want to line up a full day of kayak, ferry, shuttle rides up the creek in your own vehicle. We'll find parking around Utica for it. You might have to walk a couple blocks to get your vehicle and bring it down to my grandfather's. I haven't cleared this with my grandfather or my parents yet, but I'm pretty sure they'll be on board with it. So if you don't want to rent my kayaks, which aren't the greatest, and you have your own kayaks or canoe, and can load it on your vehicle, come to Utica, call me, and I will drive you up so you can have an hour, about a 2 hour to 3 hour float down French Creek to Utica. Alright, you can email me, you can reach me at any of my websites, plotm.com, mitchformayor.com, almavoter.com, and trafnet.org. Or have someone send you a picture of any of the signs down at French Creek Farms. My phone number is the office phone number. Call me on my cell phone and arrange for a trip. Thanks for watching. Join me tomorrow evening when I talk about replacing mass shootings and school shootings with mask shootings and cool shootings. It's a program I proposed when I was doing my modcast in my living room, and I'm going to finally bring it to fruition on this video journal. Thanks for watching.